Live on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, Sportsnet 360, and Sportsnet Plus, the real Kyper and Bourne Show, Leaf edition this hour. Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Derek Brandeo, Jake the Snake Schultz. Toronto Maple Leafs, after a impressive win against Tampa Bay, 24 hours later, lay an egg.
Understatement.
Lost 6-2 to Columbus. And let me just open it up to you, JB, first, and then you, Sammy, with what was that?
It's like the reverse of like just when I thought we were out, they pull me back in. Like it's like
we suck.
I just thought I really, after 6 games, had talked myself into being like, this is a different Leaf team. Galley said it. Shelley said it. This is a different Leaf team. And last night it was like, oh, it's the same Leaf team.
We didn't make that
It's
up.
the same cast of characters.
It was.
That they're different.
Yes.
They were looking very different.
Yes.
Until they didn't. Yeah. And then, last year they had the reputation for when the second you heaped praise on them and told them they were great, they would find a way to kick you in somewhere and make you look silly.
Should we be worried about Sammy at all a little bit today? Because he's one of those guys. And
Yes.
I've had a lot of good things to say about the Toronto Maple Leafs as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there was
not
on
as many as me.
On occasion in the last little while, I've been telling you, it's only 6 games. Relax. It's just a start.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah,
where are you today, Sammy, off of that loss last night?
I am feeling very dumb. but that's a normal day for me. That's a normal day for me. But,
did you get duped?
I didn't even sniff it out.
No.
That's the most, that is how.
Usually you're cynical and skeptical.
That is how into the Berube Leafs I am and how much I'm believing. I didn't even mention the possibility of a letdown spot on the second half of a back-to-back with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mm-hmm. Having maybe their best performance in a regular season game I can maybe ever remember them. And then following with maybe their most pathetic performance I've ever seen them have in this era. It was that's a same old Leafs moment. And I am embarrassed, quite frankly. I didn't even mention the possibility. I didn't even sniff it out.
I think that part of what had been labeled same old Leafs was their ability to, again, when it feels up here, they don't, there's that letdown. You kind of felt like Berube would not let them do it. That there would be this different voice, this more intimidating presence that would convince them that, to keep the pedal down. And it didn't matter who was behind the bench.
They've put a lot of good work in since training camp. And training camp, from all indications, was different with the one-on-one battles. And it had a much different feel. Everything up until going into that game last night had a different feel.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take it all away with just one bad loss.
Nope, I agree, Kip.
You don't want to do that?
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, good. Because I was having thoughts.
But I'm not going to let him off the hook entirely either here. But I think up until going into last night, we witnessed with our own eyes what the potential is and what their range could look like when it matters most. So we had small sample sizes of that. I don't want to take that away from them today.
No, I think that's important, Kip. So I wrote an article today about, is this Leafs team different? What have we learned, sort of thing. And it is different. You mentioned before the North-South game that they had been playing. There's lots of stuff in the stats about them breaking the puck out better, dumping the puck in more, doing a lot of the things that we said they had to do to win more. They are doing those things. At the end of the day, it is you go as your leaders go, as your core goes. And I thought last night they stunk out loud. I thought Matthews and Marner, their line was gross. I was going to say to you guys before you came in here that I watched some of the goals back last night and through the neutral zone and the back check and the sort outs and whatever. Bad as I've ever seen it from that line. And that's your leaders. Your guys are supposed to be like.
So you mentioned at the start of training camp or during a couple of our first shows when guys were getting banged up and they were a little bit nicked up here and there, that playing with Greg Berube's style may come with consequences in terms of injuries and whatnot. Was last night a consequence of how hard they played on Monday night? Because I don't think I've
played hard Saturday against the Rangers too.
I know, and I never have seen them play as hard as they did on Monday. And maybe it just takes some getting used to for these guys in terms of the level that they need to be at for their coach to be happy. I don't know. Is there anything there?
I think there's something to be said there for sure in terms of like, another example. And we talked about this about Max Pacioretty, that here's a guy that played a certain style his whole career where he's the number one left winger, goal scorer. And now since training camp, he doesn't know where his role is, what his fit is. And I got to tell you, like,
you're connecting those dots, the injury and the physical play.
I've been impressed with how hard that guy has hit a few people up until this point.
He ran a man through the glass last night.
And
great camera
angle,
and
I joked yesterday that if he would have played like this throughout his whole career, we would have been looking at him in a much different light.
He also may have played a lot less hockey games, I think, is where you're going with this.
Where I'm going with is that it's one thing to start a training camp or first couple of games with this juice and this, piss and vinegar, but are you able to sustain it? Can you do it? Have you done it enough times to know when to do it, when not to do it, when to back off? Next thing you know, I don't know, he disappeared last night. Third period, he left the game with a apparent upper body injury.
Didn't come back for the third.
And sounds like from what I've heard, they still don't have an answer on his injury.
Lower body. Lower body.
Lower body?
Yeah.
Okay. McMahon, same thing. Saw some big hits from you over the start of the season. Now you go into Columbus, you played the night before. Oh, you're tired. It's not right for you.
Was it physical enough for you?
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Like, they're down
5-1
and Holmberg's getting smoked in the neutral zone.
Yes.
Like, let's reverse that and let's have a Leaf go and smoke one of those guys just to give them a little bit of a, hey, we're sore losers here. This isn't the same team before. We're up or down. I'm going to smoke you.
Yeah.
But none of them showed up to do that. So that's the tricky part is bringing it when you don't feel right. And that's what they may have to learn here moving forward.
Yeah. I guess, it just felt like that game was so over, for so long that, I get your point there that you want the pushback, but like the Reeves and Domi taking dumb penalties, and it was like, what is that? Is that what you want? You like that sort of?
No. I mean, no. I don't want.
I enjoyed that.
I don't want. Just taking a bad penalty isn't enough for me. Like off a face-off for Max, I'd rather him go and do something like he did when they were up against Tampa Bay and came in and helped a teammate out and ended up fighting Girgensons.
One thing to keep an eye on with this Leafs team, and I do get the impression that there is some try to impress the coach sort of thing, but they are the third worst in the league in penalty differential so far, -7. They've taken 7 more minors than they've drawn. So they've been shorthanded more than the other team every single game, more or less. So that's something that they typically hadn't done. I think last year they were about even in penalties taken and drawn. In fact, I know they were -2. So anyway, something to keep an eye on.
Let's.
Do you happen to know who the best in that was?
No, but the worst was Anaheim last year, -94. -94 minor penalties compared to how many.
Oh my God, that's insane.
But I'll find that answer for you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to our first Kyper's Clipper of the day with Craig Berube on what he saw last night or didn't see.
It's really boils down to in the game is, I didn't feel like we skated very well tonight. They skated through us all night. And we didn't win many puck battles tonight. Didn't defend very well tonight. And that's what you get. The only thing that was good tonight was the penalty kill.
Penalty kills up to 87%. By the way, the Devils are +9, nine minors so far.
One more.
Yep.
Can we go to Craig on what he said to his team?
Yeah, no, I always talk to the team, but they know. we got to move on from it, but at the same time, we got to learn. And, the frustration that you have right now, we got to channel it properly and get ready for the next game.
You didn't
hear that one?
Audio issues
No,
there,
I
Kip?
had audio issues.
You want to play that again for me, Derek?
Let's do it again.
Yeah, no, I always talk to the team, but they know. We got to move on from it, but at the same time, we got to learn. And, the frustration that you have right now, we got to channel it properly and get ready for the next game.
Okay. Again, I'm not taking away anything that they've done to work up until that point of the hockey game. I didn't like Craig Berube last night. Didn't like what he said after. Didn't like the players' comments after. Felt like they all took themselves off the hook last night. And I did not like that. That, to me, was nothing more than another shrug-off loss. It bothered me. And he says, well, they know. No, they don't know. Take a look.
Just move on.
Take a look.
They do. They move on quickly.
They don't move on because it's the same thing. Like, they've lost to lesser teams.
Well, that's what I mean. They just
Right?
like turn the page and all right, new day, and they don't.
Somebody, whether it was Craig last night, whether it was Austin, Mitch, somebody had to kind of look into the camera and
This is
say,
a joke.
like, I'm getting so tired of this.
Yeah, you want that
Yeah,
from
I
a
do.
new team, new year. Hasn't happened yet this year. You want them to
100%.
bring
Do-
in
do
the
we-
past like that?
Do we have Austin's comments last night?
Before we get to that, just you think it was last night was the right time to use your first bullet if
On a
you're Berube?
back-to-back with travel.
Last night would have been a good one.
You think?
Yes. Yeah.
The one
I
thing
do.
that,
Listen, 6 games in, okay? Tired. Don't go to tired.
Yeah.
Please don't. It's too early for me.
Yep.
Okay? It's the first back-to-back. You're not flying to middle America. You didn't have to go to California. You got on a plane and flew an hour and change.
Yeah.
New Tampa, 3-4. Pooped the bed against Toronto.
Did they ever?
They went into New Jersey, found a way to win. They didn't use back-to-back as an excuse.
But it's funny you mentioned other teams because, part of me is like, okay, don't overreact to this Leafs game because look at the Atlantic Division. Last night, Boston loses by 4-2. Florida loses by 4-2. I understand the teams they played were a little bit better, but they weren't on a back-to-back. So it's like, good. My point is, good teams lose by 4. You have a game where you go, we suck tonight, and you move on. But you're lumping it in with the greater
just
picture of this
saying
group.
the mindset of again being in a position where you go in, you should have a better effort, if not win. And it didn't show up for 60 minutes. And to all collectively just look at each other and say, flush it down the toilet and let's move on. And no.
Did you want the Matthews
I
call?
do
Hold on,
want
I
the
just want to say,
Matthews. Yeah.
your worst against Columbus should be a close game.
Should be a close game.
You're absolutely
Okay. Let's listen to Austin.
Neutral zone was the Autobahn for them tonight. They were just coming in, flying through, and we didn't have very good gaps, very good angles. Didn't transition very well, and on nights where the puck's bobbling, you're fighting it a little bit. Got to simplify it, but like I said, just from the start, it just seemed like they were much more prepared and dialed in than us.
Okay. I mean, all right. So he gave us a recap.
The Autobahn.
It was the Autobahn.
Okay, but
It's pretty funny, actually.
Here comes
but I
Justin
don't-
Danforth.
Hey, Sammy.
It wasn't exactly
don't
Dylan
want-
Larkin.
Don't want funny Austin.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want funny Austin. I want Captain Austin.
Yeah.
I want.
I don't know if he's trying to be funny.
I want to feel something different because that letter is on your jersey right now.
Yeah.
So even simply saying, I'm tired of this. This is unacceptable. Okay. No one's saying that it's guaranteed night we must win, but we gotta be better than that 6 games into the season.
I wonder if that's a lesson for him in that you can't play like he played like that and then call out your team. He didn't play well enough to get to say anything. He was
Again, say something a little different. Okay. It starts with me. That's all he
You're right.
needed to say.
Yep.
And then go into the Autobahn and say whatever. But say, I got to be better. That's unacceptable. Because all I got was the same old kind of shrug it off and let's move on and flush it down the toilet. to me, it's not the 60 minutes. It's just the mindset of where you are. And again, I'm not saying that you gave all your effort since the start of training camp back last night, but you gave them something.
Yeah. I think you certainly gave up the right for to have people feel like you're a different group. Like it still comes down to how this core performs.
Yeah,
it's still going to be the core when it comes down to playoffs, and it's still going to come down to them.
Like, I do think that it is one of a lot of games that they're going to play in the regular season.
Yeah.
But I will say that it was definitely a wake-up call to the fan base.
Yeah, and hopefully to the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking, a lot of the texts and conversations and things that were getting sent to me while I was doing Leafs talk and all this stuff, there was a lot of same old Leafs talk, which wasn't really happening until last night. So it just shows how fragile maybe this fan base is. But last night was a real wake-up call for everybody, I think.
Yeah. I mean.
Okay, where do you want to go? You want to forwards, defense, goaltending?
It doesn't look like it looks like if Dennis Hildeby is average.
So I thought, yes, you're right. There's horrible goaltending, but I mean, top to bottom, he had no help either.
No, we got a clip from Berube on Hildeby. Let's listen to clip 4.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I mean, he's young. It goes like that sometimes. That's part of learning to be a pro and dealing with things, ups and downs like that.
Yes. Now get him down to the Marlies as fast as you can.
So, it is tough, and he didn't look very good last night. But, in the second half of back-to-back, often you start slow. And how many times you've watched over your life watching a hockey game that your second NHL caliber goalie is in the net in the second half of back-to-back, bails you out a couple times in the first period, you get your legs, and you get into a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really do I know he's a professional athlete, and he's a young goalie, but like he's their third, fourth string goalie called into action here because your starting goalie that you gave $11 million to has disappeared before the season starts, and it's just every day we're getting an update. Oh, he's getting close. He's getting close. Well, it's almost like the end of October here, and we're still getting close.
I remember he missed the first start due to tightness.
Yeah, like
as tightness 2.5 weeks ago.
I'm getting a little frustrated with this because sure, he wasn't great last night, and they needed him to be better, and he was good against the Devils, but you would like that to be Stolarz or Woll. Because you have a much better chance to win the game if you have one of your NHL caliber goalies. Like, you got to get in some games here.
Big picture, sure, Sam, but it's also, this is a guy who's going to play games. Your third stringer's going to play games this year. Yeah. Last year, Martin Jones played 10 games or more. Didn't he play quite a... Anyway,
I think he played 19 games last year.
He was great for them. Yeah. And they've had pretty decent third stringers, and so it's a little concerning that he went up against Columbus. A guy shot it through him. First shot attempt. There's a couple rebounds in there, but mostly just first shots.
Yeah, he was just not ready. They weren't ready. He's had a wonderful experience up until this point.
A lot off the rush, but yeah.
Right? But you don't want to put him in another position like that. So if Joseph Woll's ready to back up, then put him on the bench tomorrow night. Put him on the bench.
He's not going to play?
No.
Play?
No.
What do you mean no?
I can't come off that game last night and put Joseph Woll in tomorrow night or Saturday night.
Or Saturday night.
Stolarz. And let's...
Yeah, when he's ready, they got to get him back in the mix here. He's got to play hockey.
You know when I'm putting him in? After Boston.
Is it Boston Saturday?
Winnipeg.
Monday. The team that hasn't lost yet?
Yes, the team that hasn't lost yet. They go to Winnipeg on Monday.
So why wouldn't you put him in there? Just remind me. On Thursday?
Because
they played like crap?
I had Steve Alakette tell me that my guy's the best goalie in the league right now.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
You want to win, and you think Stolarz gives you the best chance to win.
100%.
So it's just a riding the hot hand as opposed to getting Woll to feel the puck.
I got a guy feeling really good right now that I just rested, and it cost me 2 points.
Yep.
I ain't giving another 2 points away.
It's totally fair, and I like it.
I like it too.
It's like this guy has swooped in here, and when you're, like I said, starting goalie disappears before the start of the season, he's come in and giving you literally the best goaltending in the NHL. You should probably reward it.
But on the other hand, I do think then Saturday you go back to Woll. Assuming Stolarz gets you a win on Thursday, then you say, I don't care if it's Saturday and it's the Boston Bruins. We play the Bruins, they're in our league, and you play in Toronto. It's a high stakes. Sure, they're all high stakes.
And
Go play.
it's a team that keeps knocking us out.
Yeah.
It's another way of going in there and sending a message that we are different. That's the way I'll look at it. And then starting Monday, you hit the road. You've got Winnipeg, Seattle. You come back home for Seattle, but then you go back on the road, St. Louis, Minnesota. Plenty of hockey there to get Joseph Woll in there.
Let's see if Berube excuses it. We got lots of people to talk about, but let's just see if Berube excuses the fatigue thing as a factor. Clip 5, please.
How much does fatigue factor into a performance like that?
Well, that's an excuse, though, isn't it?
Right.
Right. So I'm not going there.
Not enough for you.
Good for him.
Yeah, like
Because
that.
I didn't go there today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I was going to do.
that's okay.
I mean, it's undeniably a factor in why
It's all
their
right.
performance was worse. It doesn't mean it's it's okay to lose because of sort of thing, but it's a factor.
Mm.
Yeah. So a number of players that had concerning performances. I mentioned the top guys.
Yeah.
But for me, Holmberg has looked like an American Hockey League player for a
Not
number of
good.
games in a row.
Not good.
Ekman Larson had his worst game yet as a Leaf, and I'm immediately worried people are going to start making him
So
Jake
did
Gardner.
Tanev.
Tanev, yeah.
Yeah.
And Morgan Riley, I think, has been sneaky not great. Everyone's like, well, what's Riley going to turn into with
Listen,
Tanev? It's like, has he been better with
It's-
Tanev?
No.
He's just, I don't notice him less.
Need way more out of Morgan.
Yeah, like he's $7.5 million. He's supposed to be one of the core guys too. I think we kind of let him off the hook sometimes on this show.
I think it was the fourth goal where it's a neutral zone cross ice pass. He's there with Marchenko,
Mhm.
and Marchenko just blows right by him
Yeah.
and gets a great quality shot that leads to Monahan's fourth goal. Game over.
Mhm.
It's like, where's your angle? Where's your gap?
He
Where's
struggles there. He backs way off
oh
sometimes.
my
like I said,
gosh,
yeah.
that's not $7.5 million value there.
But you know what's hard to do? Good gaps. This is what it's like, effort and discipline. It's hard to have a good gap. You have to get up with the rush, come back with the rush. Like it's instead of just waiting for it lazily.
He's
you
got to
get up
close
and come
that
back with
off,
it.
that there's no shot. If it is, it's incredibly weak. You can't get that much off a shot at that angle.
So then why?
No back pressure, which you praised tons yesterday.
nothing.
No back pressure.
But Riley, I mean, his calling card would be his skating.
Yeah.
You would think that would be something that he, would be a strength for him, and it never really has been.
No, you're right. He does back off a little bit more than I would like him to. Typically,
Mhm.
When he is lazier, like last night, it can be really evident sometimes.
God, that OEL pizza was just
So bad.
hot
But
and fresh.
Didn't have to end up as a goal. Though.
No, it didn't.
Like, as OEL then kind of came over to the puck side. Marner's on the puck side. Like, Marner's trying to tell him, like, hey, there's a guy in your lane over there. We don't need you over here. And it's too
Mhm.
late. Need a save there. But
Yeah. Need a save.
Yeah. Big, juicy rebound there.
anyway.
The lines concerning on Tavares at all continuing. Hooking penalty leads to not being in position.
Mm.
Yeah.
We've seen a few more of those penalties.
For sure. I mean, it's a real concern. how,
Take him off the power play, and it's time to put Matthew Nyes there.
yeah, you're ready
Yes.
to make the move.
I am ready to make the move.
It's going to get harder here for Tavares because he obviously can still finish and he's still got great hockey sense. And how can you utilize him? It feels like more and more you're going to have to protect him in this last year of his deal, which makes you wonder about the next. People are like, yeah, it'll be a discount next deal. And it's like, sure you want it?
No.
Anyway.
Just seems to
Getting
me
way too
like
far
the
ahead.
things that he's been accustomed to doing over the course of his career, which is handling the puck and shooting it in good quality areas, is kind of dried up for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you go to try to enhance the things that he's still good at. And you make a very valid point. The guy can still shoot it in the net. He can still find loose pucks in a radius and make some quality plays. But they are far and fewer
Yep.
than we've seen in the past.
I mean, he set up the 6-1 goal, 6-2 goal.
By the way,
Boston.
nice finish from Robertson, who it was predicted on the show would score.
Yeah.
Did you make anybody money?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
made myself money.
I actually got a lot of messages from people being like, "Thanks for the money."
You cheered. You cheered on
No,
that goal.
I
bet
actually
$12 and made 57.
I actually had a laugh. I was like, "That was the most vintage time for Robertson to score."
What were you and
Listen,
JD had some nicknames?
The one that's really mean, no stakes, Nick.
No stakes,
very,
Nick.
It's very. It's very.
When
But,
there's
like,
no stakes,
but I mean,
no one is
but,
more
like,
likely to score.
Like I saw somebody.
Columbus down 5 in the third.
I don't know who it was. I saw sent a tweet though. It was a picture of Gretzky like skating fast, and it's like Nick Robertson in a blowout, and I was like, "Oh, that's tough."
So if you get a lot more efforts out of the team in the first 6 games, you could buy some time for Nick Robertson.
Yeah.
But
By the
if
way, it was a great goal.
If
Beautiful
you get,
goal.
Okay, meaningless goal.
Beautiful.
Please.
Hey,
But
listen,
I mean, hockey
look who you're talking to. I know it was meaningless, but it was a beautiful goal.
Okay. You can not hide him, but you could protect him. But
Shelter the man.
if it's going to look more like last night, I'm not sure.
What's last night? Bad?
Yeah.
I didn't
you-
know
can-
specifically you
can-
meant
can
him.
you-
I obviously
can
I
you
know last
keep-
night was
yeah,
bad. But
Can you keep Nick Robertson in the lineup if it doesn't look like you're playing like you played in Tampa versus Tampa?
yeah, I think he's been better than his stats reflect. I don't think he's not a concern for me. No, I shouldn't say he's not a concern. He's on my watch list for sure, but he's not anywhere near the top of importance or people I think need to come out.
So, Bourne and I mentioned this a little bit when we were sitting at our desk, but yeah, all of a sudden here after one loss, which is classic sports radio thing to do, but you look at Pacioretty's hurt now, and I mean, maybe some day-to-day conversation out there. We don't know really what it is. He's hurt. Holmberg's underperforming. Robertson has 1 goal and a blowout. Tavares is not looking we talked about the depth of this team and like how like the bottom half of the lineup's looking so good, and the fourth line.
But there isn't the depth at center.
No, but no, I just mean like
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, oh boy, David Kampf sits out last night.
Well, and that's a natural centerman who could take draws.
It is a reminder that you
It
can't
was-
just ship this guy out of town because you want to pay someone $500,000 less.
It shouldn't go unnoticed or not mentioned that David Kampf, they felt comfortable enough to keep him out of the lineup. He is a natural centerman.
Mhm.
They're trying to figure out Max's short and long-term projections as a centerman. They're trying to do the same thing with Holmberg. Yet they took away the guy that is the most natural at that position last night.
Yeah, and I got no problem with it. You're playing Columbus. You should be able
Well, it
to
was
take
a
out your
problem
fourth
last
line
night.
center.
It was a problem
It was
last
a problem,
night.
but I got no problem going into the
Yes.
game saying, look, we can't be Columbus without David Kampf. We're probably too close to the margins here anyway. So I don't mind him being out, but it definitely was noticeable last night.
Yeah.
Max Domi's kind of chunky from I think you should leave. It's like, what's your thing? You got to figure out what your thing is. Is he going to be a center, a second line guy? Is he going to be a power play guy?
Kampf hasn't been playing much. Like he's like
Low minutes.
his
He's not a Berube guy, apparently.
his highest of the year is 12.28.
And he actually, a couple of years ago, when I looked at this, he was 5th in average ice time per game behind the
Yeah.
big four. Like Keefe used him a lot.
forwards, yeah.
So
Yeah.
for forwards, right?
Yeah.
The fourth line didn't look very good either.
Let
On
me
the
stop
first
this
goal.
conversation. Did
No.
anyone, and I'm not being
Yeah.
sarcastic, did
Yeah.
anyone look
No.
good? Was there anyone you liked?
Yes. No, correct.
Anyone?
I did
Was
like
McCabe okay?
I did like when Reeves jumped in on whoever hit Holmberg. I did like that. So I'll give Reeves a pass. That was nice.
Yeah, okay.
It's just I like when teams are pissed that they're losing. And the Leafs have been so passive when they're
He liked
losing.
a moment, but he
Yeah,
played
but no, he
10
played-
minutes of hockey.
Yeah, he didn't play great.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, Holmberg. We talk about eligible to hit yesterday. Has anyone ever skated into the trolley tracks worse than him there?
Yes,
Yeah.
Justin Barron.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Barron
that
on
was
Trouba.
bad. Oh my god.
I was like trying to find a way to tiptoe around that on
What are
air
people-
last night. Try to, because Barron got badly hurt. And so you don't
Yeah.
want to be insensitive.
Yeah.
But you can't skate at Jacob
Yeah.
Trouba.
Yeah.
He probably gets
And neither can Holmberg on that play.
No.
No,
but at
he's-
least, yeah. I mean, Holmberg's 220 pounds or something
Mhm.
person, so that helps him a bit. But
Yeah. Well, McCabe had the bad pinch, and then it was followed up by another bad pinch by Max Domi, which led to one of the goals.
way too many bad pinches. Way too many. Even like the
God,
sixth
did-
goal,
did-
Ekman Larson's in deep.
Did we jinx them? Did I by mentioning like we don't see odd man rushes, we
Right.
don't see bad pinches this year. What else did I say?
All great back pressure.
Back pressure.
From the neutral zone. Yeah.
Literally
And the
everything you
captain
said.
says it was the Autobahn. It was Columbus.
There ain't no Autobahn in Columbus,
no
baby.
Autobahn. I mean,
Yeah.
that
It was
was
like the roof caved in on
Yeah.
everything that we spoke about so positively.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable. Quite honestly, it was pretty
But
remarkable.
you know, when
I
people say
love.
same old Leafs,
Yeah.
that is same old Leafs.
Yeah.
The second you believe, they're like, pull out the tablecloth.
Yeah, I did like Nyes' goal. That was a very nice goal.
Yeah, took the puck shot at the
Yeah,
net.
it was very nice. Yeah, he's getting better.
Actually, maybe Nice is okay.
Yeah, that's maybe
Okay.
maybe a conversation
one.
for a different day. But the contract I worry about, maybe not Marner, maybe him.
And Myrtle had an article that McCabe deal is getting
What do
close.
you- Please tell
I
me
know
you're
you
not
mentioned
sweating
that.
over Matthew Nyes.
No, not sweating, but I think
Okay.
about it when I watch him improve
the one
every
thing-
But
single
you
game.
just told me it's like you're thinking about it more so than
Well,
Marner's.
everything I've read
He's
about Marner.
going nowhere.
What do you think about
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Jake Neighbors in St.
Sorry
Louis
about
last year? No.
Oh,
Jake Neighbors in St. Louis just signed 2 times 3.75.
Yeah.
He scored 27 times last year.
Yeah. But that's
Does that help the Leafs?
that's a team that's scared to go longer and deeper because you're not sure what you're paying for just yet.
Right. And you're sure that Nyes is. I mean, I'm sure.
Oh, listen, if
player.
if you want to go young prospect like Slavkovsky, which is what 8 times 8,
Is that what he got? 8 times 8?
yeah,
is that what he got?
he did get a long one. I don't know if it was 8 times.
I
8,
mean,
but
Leafs have the option of doing that with Matthew Nyes now, but why?
8 times 8.
I don't know. What is it?
Well, Slavkovsky is 8 times 7.6. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. 60.8 million.
But I mean,
So-
Slavkovsky was a first overall pick.
Buddy, listen, this is the way the agents think now.
Oh my god,
Okay.
we're not
But-
doing.
but-
Okay, let's
but-
go to break.
but-
We're not doing.
No,
Nyes
you're
8
talking.
years.
You're talking about now. What is the difference between Slavkovsky's value to Montreal's and Matthew Nyes right now as the
Isn't
top?
Slavkovsky supposed to have
care.
a massive ceiling?
I don't care. No, so is Nyes.
No.
They're like they're both the number one wingers on their respective hockey clubs. That
Yeah, but
No,
one of them
no,
is
no.
a first overall pick who's 6'4" and still coming into it. Nyes is 32.
It's not that.
No, he's not. But he's a couple years older than him.
23,
He's 22, actually.
22,
I think so.
22,
He's 22.
and plays at 235, 240.
So you think Slavkovsky and Nyes are comparables? What are we doing right now?
I'm telling you, if you want to skip the process
Yeah.
and go straight to long term, that's the type of contract Matthew Nyes would want.
All right, well, let's hit a bridge and let's hit a break because we got to get to Josh Kloke.
All right.
You guys got me fired up today.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, who do
I
we
like
have?
when you're mad. Josh Kloke coming up
We got
after.
Josh
Yeah, from the
Kloke.
Athletic.
Okay,
Yeah.
plenty. He'll calm us all down.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right. That and more when we return. The real Kyper and Bourne. The Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, the Leaf Edition Hour. The real Kyper and Bourne show. Let's welcome in Joshua Kloke, Leaf writer for The Athletic. Josh will calm us all down here.
He's not even on a patio having a beer like he used to be in our old interviews.
Josh, what's going on, man?
Yeah, that's old Cloak. Old Cloak would have been on a patio. It is a beautiful day. You're right. You're making me feel bad now.
Was that game by the Leafs enough to make you want to drink last night?
For some, I'm sure. But like, wasn't it expected? Am I the only one that thought like that kind of game was expected? You come off like the best game, the Leafs have played all season. And like, frankly, like one of the most complete performances this kind of team has shown over the past few seasons. And like Craig Berube hockey is demanding. And I imagine it's exhausting watching their practices, watching the way that they play, watching the way that they forecheck, watching the way that they play physically. Like the letdown is real. It sounds obvious, but like, didn't they just look like a bit hungover to you? And I'm sure they weren't, but like, didn't they just look like that, slow, lethargic? And I think that's just bound to happen when you put everything into a game that I think really mattered, a performance that really mattered on Monday. You combine it with a flight, they get in late. I don't know. I guess I am calming you down because to me it was expected.
But like, isn't that depressing? Like, isn't that, going into this year with a new coach, I would totally be on board with you if it was the same coach as last year. We go, this is always how it goes with this team. Wasn't it depressing if you're a Leafs fan that it was supposed to be different, but it wasn't? It was just the same?
Yeah, I hear you on that one. I guess it's just a matter of like it's still so early in the season, and like I'm not a sports science dude, but I imagine that it just takes longer for your bodies to acclimatize to just like frankly the heightened demands that I think the heightened physical demands that I think come with playing Craig Berube hockey. And like, maybe come the dog days of January, your bodies are used to this and you're used to the travel, and you just I just think there was, frankly, it felt like an adrenaline letdown. Because again, like I can tell you, watching Craig Berube practices every practice, they're short, but boy, are they intense, right? They're fiery. You see guys, their faces just look longer after practices. Especially some of the younger guys. I think they're physically draining. And it's a long, I understand these are going to sound like excuses, but it's a longish flight. Like it's not Ottawa, it's not Detroit. So I don't know. Am I not panicking enough? Like I'm not that bothered by it, because like frankly, if you're the Leafs, wouldn't you rather show that you can beat Tampa than like kind of, I don't know, squeak by Columbus? I don't know. Am I being too rational here?
We're talking to Joshua Kloke, Leaf writer for The Athletic. So I think your words could carry a lot of weight if, in fact, that they can bounce back and have a very good effort against the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
And that might have the biggest impact on what and how we feel 48 hours or 72 hours after that dreadful game against Columbus. So how much stock do you put into tomorrow night versus St. Louis for you?
Yeah, you're right. I do put a lot to that. I put a lot as well into the lineup choices. Like, isn't that one of the more interesting kind of storylines coming out of this early season, is the fact that like for so long this team was so tight up against the cap that they were dressing the same guys, that there was very little flexibility. Now they're in a place where they can, like, literally, like last night they had $6.1 million in the press box, a $6.1 million cap hit in the press box last night. That's fascinating to me, right? Because the whole plan for this team coming into the season was load the team up, give Craig Berube lots of options to create a competitive kind of camp and a competitive team. And we saw that, right? Max Pacioretty comes out of the lineup and then he comes back in and he scores, right? That's what you want. But what you really want to see is the guys that come out of the lineup respond. I guess I'm just kind of projecting forward here. Like, it's one thing to think about the response to St. Louis, but man, I really think about the fact that like 20 games into the season, you can't keep $6 million in the press box. And I know it's not like for like, but $6 million could probably, in a perfect world, get you that third line center that you need, like that forward help that you need. That's what I really want to see. Like, it's one thing to say, yeah, how is David Kampf going to respond when theoretically he gets back in the lineup? How is Timothy Liljegren going to look when he, could get back in the lineup? But how is this going to play out eventually? Because you can't keep $6 million in the press box every night, right?
Well,
Isn't it 7, by the way?
Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I got back of the napkin math here, and it's 6.1,
Yeah.
6.175.
this particular, yeah,
Right.
I know, yeah. But you're right. It's Liljegren at $3 million, Kampf at 2.4,
Yeah.
and Yarncroc at 2.
Are we not counting Joe
right.
Woll?
I had Philippe Myers. I just had the guys in the box last night.
Okay, all right. So yeah, they're not available, but we'll see when Yarncroc is available.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to your point about lineup choices, Yarncroc, where's he in your short term or long term?
We haven't even talked about Connor Dewar. Like, there's so many players here that I really don't know what that top 12 looks like. I don't know if they look yet. And I get the idea. create competition, create demand, right? Create, a sense of urgency in players that heightens the competitiveness that, like, I'm sure they're thinking maybe wasn't there in years past. But at some point, you're going to have to move guys, and you're just not at that point in the year where you can move players really easily. So I don't know. I think there's some really hard decisions that are going to have to be made. Injuries happen as well, right? We get that. But I wonder. I really wonder what it's going to look like. That's going to be a huge story because guys do respond. That's what's interesting to me about Craig Berube is like Bobby McMahon kind of gets called out in preseason. He's looked fantastic, right? Nick Robertson scores his first goal. I think hasn't gotten the luck, but I think he's looked good. It wouldn't surprise me if David Kampf plays really well, right? Assuming he gets in tomorrow. But you're kind of punting these big decisions on who gets in, who gets out, because you can't. They're going to be over the cap at some point, and something's got to give here.
Got all these names. It's like the Leafs need like a really nice pair of shoes to go to a ball, and they've got instead 10 bad pairs of shoes. And they're like, we have like all these guys, all these pairs of shoes. It's like, we just get like a good, viable third line center. Sorry, that was a very weird analogy. I do want to get.
I liked it. That was good.
I do want to get to the Joseph Woll. He is healthy, not healthy. How has his position and standing on this team changed since we opened camp with him, everyone saying he's their 1A?
Is it that his standing has changed or Anthony Stollart's standing
that would change his standing.
Yeah. I mean, has he not been their, I don't know, has he not been their best player so far this season?
Yeah.
And again, that sense of competition and that sense of like let's get players pushing for lineup spots. Nothing should be guaranteed. Now that applies to Joseph Woll. I'm still a Joseph Woll backer.
Yep.
I do think that like there's been a lot of bad luck with his injuries. I don't think he's injury prone, and I think we've also seen in this market it doesn't take long for players. If you do put the injury prone tag on him, it doesn't take long to shed that, right? We were talking about Nick Robertson a year ago as being injury prone. We're not having that conversation about him anymore. So the narrative around a player can change really quickly. I think the Leafs still believe in Joseph Woll's upside and his potential in a very real way. There's obvious frustration about the fact that he continues to get hurt, but I don't think it's for lack of taking care of his body. I don't think there's any blame. I don't know. The schedules get so jammed the beginning of the season. I was kind of looking at my own travel schedule for December, and I'm like, they play 15 games in 30 days in December.
Wow.
They're gonna need Joseph Woll. Dennis Hildeby, not on him last night, but you're still not at a point. He might be the number 3, but you're still not at a point where you're like, yeah, we could probably give him, a few games here. I think Joe Woll is still a very important piece of this organization. Wouldn't surprise me to see, if he plays a lot next week, because, you also don't want to burn out Anthony Stollarz. But we have to give credit to him, Stollarz. He's been far better than expected. But I really believe in Joseph Woll, and I think the Leafs really do believe in him still as well.
So I gave my my 2 cents on where I thought where Joseph Woll could come in and play in the next 3 games. Short term, St. Louis tomorrow night, Boston Saturday night, Winnipeg Monday night for the Leafs. Where do you see Joseph Woll coming in?
Winnipeg. That was a long pause, but I would think Winnipeg. I think Stollarz has deserved the chance to do Boston, right? Which we've all had circled on the calendar as, the game of the early season. The St. Louis one makes a little bit of sense, given that he's a St. Louis guy. Maybe that's something that maybe the past coaching group would have cared about a little bit more. But no.
Kloke, is he ready? Sorry to interrupt you. Is he ready to play if they give him the nod?
Well, that's why today being an off day was kind of like crucial. I wouldn't surprise me if he skated in full today. I suspect he'll be ready to go tomorrow as a backup, right? I think the Leafs are gonna be cautious with him. So that's why Winnipeg is the one that makes a lot of sense to me. Because Stolarz had the day off, right? He had the last game off. He's going to be ready to go against St. Louis. He's deserved the chance to play against the best in Boston, a game that that, like, given what they did against Tampa, they're going to be up for that game on Saturday night against Boston. And that just sets up for Stolarz, deserving then a break against Winnipeg. And that's the game that I think Joe Woll comes back for.
Josh, great stuff, man. Thanks for doing this.
Next time I'll have a beer, I promise.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
That's Joshua Kloke from The Athletic, covers the Leafs.
You know what's fresh on my mind is Joseph Woll came back last year, right, against Boston on a Saturday night, and it was like he wasn't ready, and they were like, yeah, give him the game. I believe I was probably saying that too, and I think they lit him up, if I'm not mistaken. At least they lost. I don't feel like I hear you now. No. Okay. I'll talk to Nick.
I'm back.
Oh, and you're back.
The Leafs play so much hockey in December. He just brought that up. I just
Kip and I are on
it.
TV a lot.
Yeah.
It's insane how much they play.
They also got to factor in the crammed season because of the Four Nations tournament.
Yep. And hey, I just want to add to that Bruins thing. Remember yesterday, Valley was saying he thinks they kind of stink. He thinks they could miss playoffs. And then they got smoked by the Preds 9 seconds later.
God, I'd love that. Just suck.
They're 3-3-1, -3 goal differential.
Just be bad.
Not saying, just saying.
I don't know what
the numbers are bad. The underlying numbers
I know.
are ugly. Like they look like.
And you don't want
sorting this right now. They're in a clump at the bottom left of my with the bad teams: Chicago, Philly, San Jose.
Yeah, and we still haven't seen Brad Marchand at his best, and he's getting up there as well.
And hey, we also met. He was picked for Canada already. Marchand. He's one of the guys that they picked. He might be their 15th best forward if he doesn't figure it out here.
That is interesting. Yeah, he was one of the original core guy.
He's picked. It's like him and Braden Point and McCarr and McKinnon or
Sidney Crosby probably involved.
Crosby's probably in there. Forget how many
David
probably
involved in well.
But yeah, Marchand is on the team.
Yeah, it was quite the visual of Montgomery
giving it to him
over a turnover that cost them a win.
So anyway, that's just a random thing to keep an eye on that was on my mind.
All right, so listen, it really just comes back to a good win tomorrow night for the Leafs, and they get back on track, and it looks a lot more like it did against Tampa Bay than it did against Columbus, and everything's back to normal, Sammy, for you.
Yeah.
Well, it would color the Columbus game differently if they came out and were awesome again.
Much like the Leafs playing against Sheldon Keefe. Sure, there's some boys in that Blues team that are going to be playing pretty hard on Thursday.
And they've got to put a bell on Kyrou
they've had a good start to the year. They've played really well, and Broberg's been good for them since they signed him. They've had a good start to the season.
Thomas got hurt though.
He did IR or LTIR. He's long term. So
broken bone or something.
That's not good for them. But I'm just saying, they're going to be up for that matchup. Toronto, half the team's from Toronto as usual. Former coach who it's going to be a big test for the Leafs. Unless Jordan Binnington's really bad, but who knows?
All right.
Hope he's not, kind of.
Yeah, we need him.
We'll have plenty on St. Louis tomorrow. But in the meantime, do not go away as we go national here on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We'll welcome in David Amber.
He's waiting outside the studio door. Just texted me.
Since like 6 a.m., I think. That's how badly he wants to get on this show.
First time of the year.
All right. David Amber, studio host, Hockey Night in Canada, and the NHL on Sportsnet, coming up next. It's the National Hour on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver and Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, coast to coast on Sportsnet. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Let's welcome him in. David Amber, friend of the show, studio analyst with Hockey Night in Canada, NHL on Sportsnet, and the finest dressed guest I think we've had on for
Not
you.
by design.
Not by design,
I feel-
as you're working tonight.
Yeah. The only game until we go from 16 games to one game.
Yeah.
And I love the 16 games. I wish the NHL did that more. You and I we had a good 8-hour date night last night watching 16 games.
It was special.
It was fun. But why doesn't the league do that more?
Listen, I think they should open day one. That's how the league should be shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
I did want to add to your best dress comment that he has sick Wendell Clark socks on, it looks like. Is that those are
Wendell Clark socks.
Those are
Kipper,
amazing.
you must have socks, no?
Yeah, but they're all in the box still.
Really?
Yes.
What's the company called again? I don't remember.
Socks.
I want a
called
Kipper. I want a Kipper pair. I want a pair of Kipper socks.
So
Yeah.
I liked, what did we call it? The Frozen Frenzy?
Major
Yeah.
League socks.
I did. But can you give me some notice that it's actually coming up?
I
have no idea.
totally agree.
Like, can you let us know?
Day of Frozen Frenzy.
And can you
Wait,
not?
what?
Can you not throw out a random Tuesday night in October?
What would you do, Kipper? Would you do first night like Justin?
I think he's onto something.
Mhm.
For me,
Yeah.
I would pick a holiday
Mm.
where,
Canadian
and I
Thanksgiving
would
should
start
get some
it,
hockey.
and I would start it at noon
Mhm.
and work its way up and make
You
it
could.
an event and promote it.
And make DA be there all day.
Don't tell
Do
me,
every show.
don't let me find out the day of that these games are going on.
You could do that. You could do that. I mean, work it in the Winter Classic they want as a standalone. Obviously, I understand that. But you could do, as you say, Canadian Thanksgiving's a Monday.
Yeah.
You could start out with the Canadian games in the afternoons because it's not
And
a
it-
holiday in the U.S. There's a
It's-
way to do it
It's
for
Columbus Day, right?
Yep.
So there's
on Canadian Thanksgiving.
yeah, it was this year. I don't know if it
But-
falls every year. I think it does.
I don't know if it does either.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, probably does.
But that would be a good opportunity.
And I say do it more than once a year because I thought it was really cool. And there's storylines there. It was only the 4th time ever we had that. And, we were hoping for a ton of overtime. The best game might have been one of the last games. The Calgary game was really
Yeah.
exciting.
Did you both of you guys were in studio? So how hard was it to keep an eye on a lot of different things?
We missed a couple things.
Legitimately very hard. I mean, there was 7 games going at the same time and trying to kind of stay up on everything. And plus monitoring all of my wagering while we were going on was very complicated. So
He owes me lunch. He dragged me into some of the worst bets I've ever been a party to.
believing in the
Trust me
Leafs.
on this. Trust me on this. They're going to come back. And I'm like, just, okay, I'm following his one bad bet after another.
So where are you on the start of the year? We've got, I think, presently 5 out of 7 Canadian teams in a playoff position, which excites the heck out of you because you're really
Captain Canada
Canadianly
over here.
Hey,
selfish.
I'm thinking about all of us. I really am. Listen, I think the best story in the NHL, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I think the best story has been the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
I mean, people in Winnipeg are going, well, what about us? We're 6-0. We've been incredible.
But they've
That's-
been good.
And that's not shocking. The Calgary thing is
Yes.
shocking. And Dustin Wolf, if Dustin Wolf can be what he's showing right now, they're not going to miss Markstrom. It's going to be like, wow, we have our own guy now. So it's
It was a great
exciting.
finish last night with Kadri
Hell of a
tying the game up with
Oh,
40
yeah.
seconds to go, 42 seconds to go.
Yeah, and this Justin Kirkland story is one of the best. These are great human interest stories. I mean, your book, Undrafted, I mean,
Yes.
you've had to fight tooth and nail to get everything
Yeah.
you got. This guy's 28 years old. He was drafted, I believe, but I mean, he barely had a cup of coffee, right?
Wonderful
Is he
story.
27, 28, whatever? He's in that.
To get the
great
nod
story.
last night
Yeah.
on a shootout and to go in there and, a couple of moves and the last one to
Yeah.
tuck it, to toe drag it in and snap it down low. Great.
And Huska.
Great move, great calmness, and I'm sure he was like that duck theory, paddling like hell underwater.
Yeah, but
while-
looked calm.
Looked calm.
But, Huska, his coach said, if you've been following him, and of course they have been in the American League, and ask his teammates, he's automatic in these situations. He says he said, my only regret is not going to him sooner. So,
That's funny.
you build some trust with the coach who likes you.
Are they?
And then Wolf had to stop Malkin at the other end to secure the win. He had Crosby and Malkin coming down. I mean, it was a great story. It's been a great start for the Flames. That's one of the best stories right now. And who knows how long it's going to last? The bubble could start burst in their next game. But right now they're riding pretty high, and it's been fun to watch.
Okay, so earlier in our show we talked about everybody calm down, with the Leafs even having a world-class game against Tampa Bay and then laying an egg. But if you're Calgary, if you're Craig Conroy right now and you see this start, is it enough to say that I want this team now to play meaningful games in March and April? Is it enough to say, okay, take a look around, why can't we make the playoffs this year?
Mm-hmm.
So where are you? Is this a nice start to a team that still should miss the playoffs? DA.
Greg Conroy has a really big decision to make because at the start of this year, the narrative was Rasmus Andersson, great chip to play, trade chip. Nazem Kadri, great chip to play, trade chip. And now it's like, that's a core. Those are some core pieces of this team that could be doing something really exciting. We've seen this from other teams, right? We've seen this unexpected surges and making the playoffs. You know, I think if you're Craig Conroy, I think the one thing you use, the biggest resource you have is time. You don't have to make any rash decisions right now.
Yeah.
Get as many fans out there excited about the product. It's been a tough 4 or 5 years in Calgary. Get fans engaged. Get these young guys playing with this veteran nucleus, right? Like, they're not a young team. That's the thing. When you look at, if Montreal had a 5-0-1 start, you'd still say, wow, they're a pretty damn young team. You look at Calgary, right? Uyghur and Anderson and Huberdeau and
Backlund
Blake
and Coleman and
Backlund. They're not a young team. So for me, I think you ride this out. You're teaching the Connor Zaries and all these guys how to be a pro and how to be, playing meaningful games. People are feeling good about it, and you ride it out and you see where it takes you.
Well, the other great story is the Winnipeg Jets. 6-0-0 at this point, looking, I don't know, like we better than I thought they would be. What I'm trying to get at is everyone I talk to about this says we'll see in playoffs. Does it matter to you if they have this big successful run in the regular season, or are you still a let's wait and see guy?
Well, I mean, we saw what a 110-point season did for them last year. They got summarily dismissed in a horrible fashion by Colorado, right? Allowing 5 goals plus in every single game. But the Winnipeg Jets are a good team. They're balanced. I mean, do I think their power play is going to keep clicking at 44%? Probably not.
Quite, yeah.
But, I mean, here's the thing about Winnipeg. They're a balanced team, and they don't have superstars, but they have that next tier right below them, right? To me, Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey, Kyle Connor, all Kyle Connor does every year is score 35-plus goals. That's all he does every year.
Yeah.
If we had that in a different market, we might talk more about it, But they have good players, great depth. They have a star goalie. Scott Arniel clearly is pushing the right buttons, and it's been fun to watch. They've been dominant, guys.
Yeah, really, really
yeah.
good. Plus
And
17 goal differential.
Cole
over 6
Perfetti
games.
is a guy that they weren't too sure of. They did not want to give him a long-term commitment. And
Is that going to cost him?
three assists last night.
Clean
and
slate, new
clean
coach.
slate, new
and
coach. It probably will.
7.6
But here's a
games
guy
plus
that
6.
likes it there, wanted to stay long-term. They couldn't get a deal done, but he's on the cusp of being a very good player. I don't know if he can hold on to a point a game this season, but if he did, I'm not sure we should be shocked anymore.
Yeah, and Ehlers is in a contract year, and he's playing lights out. So, listen, things are looking really great. You asked me if it's significant, if it's not insignificant or what. It's significant by this fashion. There was a lot of people who didn't pick the Jets to even make the playoffs. And when you have one of the teams that everyone expected to make the playoffs in Nashville starting out 1-5, that's a 10-point cushion you have right now.
Yeah.
You have an ability to go into a little swoon in February for a few games and not be on the precipice of being out of the playoffs. That's what it affords you right now. If you get some injuries or whatever the case may be, it's so early to even talk in these terms.
It is.
But at the same time, 6 straight wins is 6 straight wins.
It is, and wherever it happens in the season, you appreciate it. And so, like last season, the Oilers get out to that dog start, and it's like they become the Oilers. They figure out they're the best team in the second half by a good margin, and we see what they do. Are we taking it for granted that they're going to be fine? Because, no one on this show is worried this time around, I don't think. Am I fair in saying that?
Not like, what does worried mean? That they won't make the playoffs or they'll be knocked out early?
I think they were the heavy Stanley Cup favorite. If you now think that they're in a pack with everyone else, that's worth worry.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Oilers right now?
I
Yeah,
think.
sorry,
Okay, sorry.
yeah,
I was
sorry,
still talking
sorry.
about Winnipeg.
I don't think they came into this season as strong as they ended it.
Yeah. You think the actual roster is weaker?
Yes. I think
so
the
what
blue
about-
In
line's-
what sense, Kipper? This
the
is
blue
interesting.
line.
Yeah. Okay. Well, CC, Desharnais, and Broberg. And
Yes.
Broberg's been
Yes.
Broberg's been everything Doug Armstrong had
And
hoped.
so far, it looks like a mistake of not
Matching.
for Broberg.
Yeah. Now the one thing is they have some ability to move some parts and do some
Okay.
things, right? I mean, they're not
Right, it's not
completely
deadline yet.
hand-tied. Yeah, they've got time.
Okay. Where are you on the Stuart Skinner
Good question.
worry.
Pendulum. Yeah.
Pendulum.
You know what I would say, Kyper, is Stuart Skinner I'd lump in with another 15 goalies in the league that, at his best, he's world class, right? Like you go, wow. But it's the consistency that you kind of go, where is it? Because we saw during the playoffs, like how phenomenal he could be. We saw during that 16-game winning streak, franchise record 16-game winning streak last year, how amazing Stuart Skinner can be. It's been a slow start for him, but I'd say more so than anything, it just seems like the team, and you must know this. I mean, you won a Stanley Cup in 94. How tough is it to start up in October in 95? Well, I guess you didn't because of the lockout, right?
But it's still, we scraped in a half a season.
Lockout?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So,
January we started up, and it was a dogfight to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah.
And then we knocked out the number 1 seed.
No big deal. So you can see, Oilers, you can just turn it on when you're ready.
I'm certainly not worried. I'm not certainly. I still
I think the
view them.
Skinner thing is an interesting question because, everyone talks about, he was a 9-01 in playoffs last year when everyone talks about how he figured it out.
He's not athletic as a goalie traditionally is. And I'm watching Aho's game-winning goal where he ends up
Post to post
on his belly, which isn't a natural, finish to trying to make a save.
Did you see the Scorpions save though before their first goal? That was pretty athletic.
Before Gossesbear hammered it past him.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's reasonable to question what Stuart Skinner is when you look at the teams in the West. You go, Ottinger, feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Hellebuck, you feel pretty comfortable despite his lack of playoff success in the last few years. Saros, if Nashville gets in, you feel pretty comfortable. So you're right. I think it's fair to question it. Having said that, I think the group in front of them, certainly the offensive group, they don't need to win 1-0 games.
No.
Whereas some teams, they're going to have to kind of, scratch and claw to get 3 goals a game. Oilers, we know what they can do offensively. So that takes a bit of the pressure off.
Canucks, you want to go Canucks?
Yeah, I was going to do Canucks. 3 straight wins for the Vancouver Canucks.
They won a game that they should have won last night.
Yeah, took care of business, moved the puck around pretty well. Another, I don't know about Norris-like start for Quinn Hughes, but really good. Where are you in the belief train? Last year, they ended up winning the division, 1 point more than the Oilers, and right now they're behind Vegas and Calgary, but I still think maybe as good as anyone, or where are they compared to last year for you?
Well, I think Patrick Allvin deserves a lot of credit, right? Their penalty kill had been an issue the last few years. They bring in the likes of Kiefer Sherwood. They shore up some of the issues, right? Like he had to retain a bunch of his players. He had to give out contracts to a lot of their RFAs, but he was able to hold on to them. And at the same time, I think address some of their issues. You got to remember, they're playing pretty well. 3 straight wins. These were on the road. They finished the road trip 3-1. And no Demko, right? So think about no starting goalie. And your star offensive player has not been a star. And that's the big question mark. If Elias Pettersson can get back to being Elias Pettersson, what we expect from him pre-signing this contract, that could be the real difference for the Vancouver Canucks moving forward. So
where is the biggest issue for you watching him?
I just want to throw out a stat. Since he signed his contract, I think it's been like 30 games, 1 even strength goal. Is that right?
Yeah.
And it was
It's
the
not
game
good.
after he
it's
signed
shocking.
It's not good.
How does
Now,
that happen?
our Elliot
wondered-
Friedman says that he thinks he's been kind of listening to the noise too much. And I'm like, Elliot listens to the noise too much.
Yeah. Well, listen, Pettersson got his deal. I don't know what noise there is to listen to. He got the money he wanted, right? He's one of the highest paid wings in the league and I'm sorry, positional players in the league.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is maybe it got into his head. Everyone's different, right? That whole are you going to accept this or we have a deal on the table potentially to send you to Carolina and maybe there's just something inside that bothered him. You hear that about players when they go through arbitration. Kyper, did you ever go through arbitration?
No, the only thing I arbitrated was a bonus that the Rangers refused to pay me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to leave the team in the middle of the season to go fight for my money with an arbitrator.
Was it not in writing, whatever the bonus was?
It was in writing.
What was the bonus?
Why
No,
would
you don't tell me dollars, but what was it for doing?
Winning the Stanley Cup.
Why would they want to pay of all the things?
I don't know.
That's it. Well, you got it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But it was weird and it was painful. And I get anybody that takes a team to arbitration, why it's so uncomfortable and how it's unnerving.
Yeah. And we've heard stories, I'm not going to say names, but we've heard stories of guys breaking down and crying during the arbitration, right? There's a pretty infamous one back in the day with the Islanders that was like, holy crap, like it can get pretty personal. And
Swayman, I think, was really bothered by his.
And maybe this got really personal. And I'm not saying he shouldn't shake that off. He's a professional. But maybe maybe that's what Elliott's referring to. I don't, it's a pretty clandestine statement that he's heard the noise. I don't know exactly what the noise is, but I wonder if any of that stuck to him because he doesn't look like the guy who was world class for the first 4 months of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talked in the Atlantic Division about teams like Buffalo, Detroit, Montreal making a push. We're not seeing it out of the Canadians. We saw a win the other night for Buffalo, but Ottawa seems to be stepping up right now and looking like a team that wants to really challenge here. So no Allmark. Interesting that he's not come back just yet. Not feeling right. But where are you with Ottawa?
I'm pretty pleased. If you told me Allmark was going to get injured after 2 starts, I would have said, oh, God, Ottawa's in trouble. But they've held it together. And it hasn't been pretty, right? Like the 8-7 game. It was fun,
circus,
but it wasn't pretty. This Saturday, who'd they beat on Saturday? Was it the Kings? I can't even remember. I was in studio for it. I think it was the Kings. Again, it wasn't a pretty game, but they're finding ways to win. And what I like is Steve Staios and the guys deserve some credit, right? They brought in 3 Stanley Cup winners, Perron, Amadio, and Nick Cousins. And I think that took a lot of the pressure off Claude Giroux to not have to carry all of the maturity of the team, right? And not be that one season veteran there. I like the early returns, Kyper. You know what's killed them? We talked about this, Justin. What's killed Ottawa the last 4 or 5 years isn't from January on. It's from October to January.
Right.
2 wins in 15 games, 4 wins in 20 games, below 500 every year.
By the end of November, they're cooked.
Yeah, and in that division, you can't bury yourself. No. So I like the early returns. I'd love to see Allmark better. That is a bit of a concern. Forsberg was exceptional last night, but we just know based on his resume, he's probably not going to be able to do that 4 out of 5 games.
Right.
So it's asking a lot. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Ottawa Senators, and they seem more structured. Travis Green was probably the right guy. It's more structured, more disciplined, more accountability.
Yep, I'm with you there. I do want to get you on something else as we're kind of going around Canada as well, and that's this Montreal Canadiens team. Doing rebuild. They have a young decor, and there's people excited about that decor going into the season. And I was like, gosh, it's gonna be tough to have all these guys learning at the same time. How is it going to be handled in Montreal? This team does not look ready for a bit here. Am I crazy there? Like, they don't look close to me.
Like, when do they stop getting a free pass?
Well, that's actually a better phrasing of what I'm asking. Like, at what point are we like, this is a bit worse than you're supposed to be here?
Last night, embarrassed 7-2 at home, watching guys not even go back for an icing, and then a horrific goal, and the game's barely, started, and
But what do you do?
You're buried. You're over.
What do you do? Do you trade some of this draft capital and get some some NHL bona fide players because you just have too many guys figuring it out, right? Like they have these good young parts, but there's just a lot of them.
No, it's crazy too. Like last night, there's a Lane Hudson turnover, and everyone loves Lane Hudson, and he's going to be great, and he's very talented.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay,
No, don't give him great. Just he's going to be great. I don't know if he's going to be great.
They're very excited about him in Montreal.
What is the guy?
Very excited.
What's he got? 9 games in his career?
Sounds right.
Okay.
But you see it, but he does things, even in that first game against the Leafs. One thing I'll say about him, he does things that you just don't expect a rookie
He's
defenseman.
Uniquely talented, skilled.
It's a double-edged sword, as the giveaway showed you last night in the neutral zone to Riley.
And, I saw the cut to the bench, and he's kind of, explaining himself to Marty St. Louis or whatever. But it's like,
how do you explain that?
Well, and would it be terrible if you said that we're not doing that? You're not playing. What is the learning curve? To me, when you're so bad that you're saying everyone just go get experience and throw them over the boards, that's not a great way to build.
He's 9 games in. Take a look at the ask for this guy. 24 minutes last night.
Is that what he played?
It's not dissimilar.
Please check.
It's not dissimilar to Jake Sanderson and what was called on him in
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
He ain't Jake Sanderson.
Wow.
He's not.
You don't think he's Jake Sanderson?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not yet.
Okay. What is with Montreal here? Can I take you guys back a few years ago with the name Victor Mete? 19 years old, came in, started playing 20 minutes. Okay, where's Victor Mete today?
Yeah. And he bounced from, I think, Toronto, Ottawa.
He
did the
can't
rounds.
miss, playing with Shea Weber, and he's the man. He's the future. Like,
Yeah, he played 24-10.
be careful here, Montreal, with this kid. I'm not even sure he should be with the team right now. Hudson,
But that's when you're a
maybe
good
should
team,
be
you have
in
luxury
the
of not
American
forcing.
Hockey League.
Yeah.
But go ask him to play 25 minutes with the shimmies here and the 10x2s over here. He'd drive me nuts, by the way.
Well,
he would drive me nuts.
But one thing to factor in, Gooley was injured. Matheson was banged up. Like I think they maybe feel compelled in a way, and maybe they shouldn't feel that way, but I think it wasn't by design to play him 24
I think
minutes.
if you're listening to this and you're a Canadians fan, you're saying, we want him to play as much as possible, learn, get experience, make mistakes.
So
the making mistakes part is very dangerous too, because you could crush a guy. You could hurt a guy's
the best example
psyche.
of that,
You can hurt a guy's confidence.
Rasmus Dahlin. And I love Rasmus Dahlin as a player, but I think he's played 400 and something games of losing hockey, and it's not on him.
No,
but
like,
I think it starts to weigh on
He's
you.
still very much in the development, but you can stunt that development on nights like that last night for
Insulate him a bit.
Well, have you seen that lineup? Where are you going to hide him? Where are you going to insulate him?
That's kind of what I was getting at here.
That was Justin's point, yeah.
They might need a couple of guys here to play, because right down the middle right now after Suzuki, it's Oliver Kapanen, Jake Evans, and Christian Dvorak.
Yeah, Slafkovsky missed last night.
No, you make a very valid point.
Yeah.
Slavkovsky missed last night. Laine's obviously out. Doc hasn't been what they had hoped he would mature into. Right?
You have to go.
Okay, no. Hold on. I'm watching the Leafs last night. The three of us do a lot of Leaf games during the year. I was so happy we weren't working last night.
Let someone else deal with that, right?
Honestly, a very tough game to call coming off the best night of the year on Monday.
Yeah, I felt for
I don't
those
like
guys.
to see you sad.
We've been there. We've been in those situations.
We did a 5-0 Columbus game last year.
Thank God we had that incredible third period. But yes, we've been there for that.
Okay, you've got a big night ahead of you. Wednesday night hockey here at Sportsnet. It's the Philadelphia Flyers, the Washington Capitals. Ovi, just one goal. He's on pace for, I think, 15 goals. Are you concerned at all?
About the record big time? No, I think it might not be this year. Only one time as a player his age or older had a 42-goal season, which is what it would take for him to set the record this year. And that was Gordie Howe at age 40, had a 44-goal season. One time ever that's happened. So you're asking a lot of OV. But I think we learned last year, Kyper, in the second half of the season, don't sleep on Alexander Ovechkin when you
Sam's
when you
hoping
count
he
him
just
out.
retires.
Was that?
Sam's hoping he just retires.
And some credit to that coaching staff, because they're off to a good start,
Harbour,
too.
yeah. Excellent.
Right?
Sneaky good offseason for Washington. We'll talk about that more after.
Okay, DA.
Hey, guys.
Have a great night, pal. Thanks for
having
dropping
me.
by.
Get me back on again and enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah, thanks for your time, man.
He is David Amber. Hockey Night in Canada and NHL on Sportsnet. And we'll be back with Sammy McKee in Game Time next. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne is brought to you by Bet365 as we kick it into a little game time on a very quiet night in the National Hockey League, Sammy.
Yeah, it was been two quiet ones with a very busy one this week. So they could just maybe meet in the middle somewhere. Be great. It's game time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app, latest odds, and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. The Philadelphia Flyers and the Washington Capitals, like you said, are the only game in town tonight on Sportsnet on Wednesday Night Hockey. Our boy David Amber, who was nice enough to come in here, is hosting the show. Don't really have any idea who's going to win this game. Capitals, to me, have looked really good to start this year. You mentioned that they made some good moves in the offseason. Like, I watched a lot of that game before the Leafs game started last night, and it's like, Mangiapane's a good player. Chikrin's a pretty good player here. They did add some guys, so I like them a little bit, but I have no feel in the game tonight. What I will do is Ovechkin's got to score more than one goal at some point this year, so give me an OV anytime goal at plus 130. The Toronto Raptors get their season underway tonight, the home opener, wearing all purple, 30th anniversary. I believe our coworker Vince Carter is on the call tonight for Sportsnet, so that's really good.
What?
Yeah, he's doing a few games for Sportsnet. It's great.
Amazing.
Yep. Oh, yeah, just my favorite coworker. The Cavaliers are heavy favorites tonight, minus 250 against the Toronto Raptors at plus 205. But I'm going to take a shot here, okay? You can bet on Bet365, the first bucket of the game, the first basket, Give me Grady Dick to score the first basket of the game tonight at plus 1,200. So there's my little shot for it tonight.
Love it.
There you go.
Right after the Nick Robertson shot yesterday.
Yeah. So the Toronto Raptors probably not going to be great this year, but watch the games, listen to the Raptors show, rebuild the year maybe. I don't know.
Find stuff to be positive about, even in a rebuild, like Montreal and Lane Hudson.
Okay, where are we on?
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right. That was
We're
Game
good.
Time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Oh.
No sneeze?
Almost sneeze, boys.
Kipper's streak is still intact.
I'm
Holy
jealous.
30 years, no on-air sneezes.
No on-air sneezes.
That was as close as I've been in a very long time.
Really?
I had a big burp earlier this year, but that was a sneeze. It was
is-
percolating during my read.
This is like the Seinfeld black and white cookie. At some point, it's coming for you. You're going to...
A sneeze, no one can say anything about a sneeze, but if you burp, if you belch really loud on TV, that's fireable, isn't it?
Yeah. But if I sat here and had a can of Sprite and looked at you guys and went, "Bruh," that's fireable. But if I turn off my mic, I don't think it's as fireable.
It's not even Friday and we're having this conversation.
It's Wednesday.
Where are
It's
the rails?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we with the Washington Capitals besides that they made a couple of moves and they're holding their own? Pierre-Luc Dubois back. Dylan Strome is off to a nice start, but Ovi just the one lone goal. But is this a continuation of the early struggles that we saw last season with Ovechkin? Can he salvage it with a big push again?
Their GM there is Brian McClellan. He does a great job. I really think, at keeping them competitive during the Ovi era, bringing in Pierre-Luc Dubois, whatever you think of him, he's a real player, NHL player, second-line center, and then they signed Vrana, and they've done some good things this offseason. Chychrun, Mangiapane, they're a bit better, but I just don't like this roster. They're not a playoff team to me, are they?
They were last year.
Decor,
And
Haveri, McElrath, Van Riemsdyk. I don't know. I just don't.
I think there's just a lot of parts holding on right now.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it, that everyone's okay. They're okay. They're, again, going to finish 14th to 18th probably. How about that?
Yeah, I think they could be in the conversation for the last playoff spot.
Ovi goal total in the season prediction for you.
He's on pace for 15, like you said.
27?
I will say
He won't come off the ice. Those power plays, he's going to milk every single one of them. It's an empty net.
How many did
he's
he get
going to
last
milk
year,
every
boys?
single one of them.
He ended up with 30-some, didn't he?
I don't know. Did he really? Let me look.
It would be 30 or 31. Caps GM is actually Chris Patrick. It was McClellan before, right? But yeah, so anyway, Ovi,
He had 31 last year.
31,
right.
and he was really low. It was the second half of the year where he went on a tear. But he was also a guy who forever just shots. Leading the league in shots right now, Austin Matthews,
At what?
36 through 6
And
games.
that's
so
usually,
6 per night.
that's always been reserved for Ovi over the course of his career.
Absolutely.
So where is he now
Great question.
on shots?
I'm heading. Let me just
I think
control
he-
F this. 'cause it's not-
Last game, I think he ended up with 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. And there's some games he'd go 10, 12.
He is 96th in the league with 16 shots through 5 games. That is stunning.
Stunning.
It's still 3 shots a game, but
And
it's,
McClellan is the president of hockey ops still
there
with
it
the
is.
Caps.
Okay,
So
he's still
you're,
involved,
yeah.
yes.
But it
96.
used to work where,
Tied
and it's
with
been well
Trouba.
isolated by many stations, that once he finds his spot,
Mhm.
he doesn't move.
No, he's just there. He's on the first tee box, just waiting for someone to
And
set it on a tee.
and
for
it
him.
used to work, but I'm not sure how much it's working anymore.
I just don't know if he's going to have those insane hot stretches like he used to that would balloon his numbers where he'd get, 6 in 3 games or
But
6 in 4
it just
games.
comes off his stick so crazy.
Yeah.
It
It's-
does.
yeah,
like,
he
like
should-
little
yeah.
ones off the face
Yeah,
off.
he's literally has the second most goals in the history of the league. Yeah, he
Right.
does come off a little
But I'm just
different.
saying, he doesn't. If he's just on the ice, 18 minutes per game, and it finds him enough, he'll shoot 20 some in.
I think there's potential for this to take 3 seasons.
Oh, that would be lovely because I don't know if he's got 3 in him.
I think there's a world where he scores 20 this year.
25, and then he gets 50.
Okay, so you're
14.
talking about 2 years and then the third game in
Yes.
the third
But if you
season.
get it, if he doesn't do it in the next 2, who knows what happens, and is there a
But he's-
CBA that's up? Is there a war going
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
Is he definitely going to be here? Does he
Yeah.
get injured?
He's too slow.
Could he just be too slow to play? And the Caps say, listen, you're going to have to get it somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm sure the Washington Capitals, who have made their entire franchise about this guy forever, protected him through thick and thin, are going to let him get the goal scoring record somewhere else other than
What
okay.
if he's not effective
They
and
don't
they want
care.
to win
Their
matches?
whole team, the
What
point,
a stupid thing to play for.
I don't know if it is. I really don't know if it is.
I don't think.
How about Stanley Cups?
Yeah,
Try
they
those.
got one. Like, I think
They're
it's
good forever.
Well, this is really
There's
a
jobs on the
tough
line.
spot that the organization's in.
if
is
I'm the owner, if
chasing
I'm Ted
this.
Leon's, no, it's not.
This is.
He's not getting it anywhere else.
I know.
You're right. I mean, you're right.
I know.
But maybe you shouldn't be.
Yeah,
but,
no.
But the part is that, like, there's 19 other guys that this has become. Like, it's not supposed to be this way where one guy supersedes
No.
the
It's
greater good of a
opposite
team.
the spirit of
It's
hockey.
completely off
The
the
culture.
opposite. And I'm not sure how much if it may look as extreme as we're not about the Washington Capitals, we're about Ovi, how that will come across or sell eventually to get to this record.
Will it take away from the record if everyone just remembers
If it's
this?
just a complete mockery of the
the run and
spirit of
plays
the
to get him
game,
a shot.
of the spirit of the team game that we've known
Bernie
forever.
Mac and Mr. 3000.
Yeah,
Like
right.
our game has never been historically about one guy above the team.
And if it is so clear that that's what they want to do, maybe they should run some plays for him. Maybe
Well,
the power play should just be, wait, don't shoot till Ovi can shoot it.
We're not talking about the Mark Giordano block shots record here. This is the literal best record in all of sport, like maybe all of sports. Well, like what was
Points, obviously. Is
no, like
No.
goals.
I'm with him. I think the greatest goal scorer record in NHL history sits at the top of
ahead of points?
ahead of points.
agreed.
That's nonsense. Gretzky has like 1,000 more
Yeah,
points.
but the
than
puck,
this.
you put the puck in the net the most out of
You
anyone.
create putting the puck in the
But
net.
you know, you got to
You sound
understand
like my grandpa.
that
Assists are
that
just as good as his goal.
The reason
Grandpa's a
why
smart man.
He was.
the Gretzky points so phenomenal is because it also came with the most goals, right? It wasn't just Gretzky with points.
Text us, people.
It was Gretzky's the greatest goal scorer in NHL history.
Your job as a hockey player is to help your team score goals. And if you create zillion more than the next guy like Gretzky did,
Yeah.
I don't care who's putting it in.
It's-
Our team put it in. He helped his team put
Okay.
in.
So what's sexier, home runs or RBIs?
It's a different
Tell
debate.
me.
No, it's a different debate.
No, it's not.
Who's the
It's not
all-time? Who's the all-time
Home
leader in
runs are
RBIs?
goals.
Cal Ripken, I have no idea.
No one does.
Home
But-
runs are goals. Points are RBIs.
Okay, so sexy is different than useful or valuable then. Because I want
Yes.
I want guys on my team who help the puck get in the
What's-
net more.
what's
you can
better?
go get 40 goals, I'll get 100 points. I'll tell you which guy I would take.
The passing yards or the touchdowns? Which record do you want
The
to have more?
sexier debate is stupid. I'm not sitting here saying it's sexier.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying what's more valued and therefore
But
more
sex sells.
sex does sell.
If it bleeds, it leads, baby.
And I'm not arguing that either.
I'll
I'll hear the sexier argument for sure.
I'm really, I'll put aside my Ovi hate for a minute here. I can't believe that in my lifetime, we used to talk about Bud's, I used to know every record and everything. And the 894, right, of Gretzky
892.
was something that we were like, that is the most unbreakable
Yes.
record. Like, that is something that'll never be touched in this day and age.
It was Cal
894.
Ripken consecutive streak now.
It's just, his points will never be touched, I think. I think we can say that that's going to be, maybe McDavid gets there at some point, gets somewhere close, gets over 2,000 at least. But it is really amazing that we're sitting here and talking that he's 40 goals away from it. Like, it really
It's
is.
also crazy that we cover a guy who's ahead of Ovi's pace and we spend half our time going, he doesn't pass enough. And then we sit here and yell about what's sexy.
He is having a pretty good start.
Jesus.
All right.
God, I love you guys.
Text us. Let us know what's sexier, goals or points.
All right.
Birdies
Okay.
or Eagles? Somebody texted in.
Earlier in the show, we talked about a very big hit by once again
Oh, my God.
the greatest open ice hitter
Since Stevens.
since Scott Stevens
Yeah.
and Jacob Trouba, and it's it upsets the social media world.
Yes.
Some of them want him in jail, some of them want him suspended, don't need it in the game, and I'm sitting there going, man, if that hit is no good, we gotta
Rethink the whole thing.
We gotta rethink the whole thing. We gotta go back and change the rules on body checking.
Do you think that they might do that? Do you think the NHL might go to the IIHF?
Zero chance.
Really?
Zero. Not under Gary Bettman and
Because,
present.
again,
regime.
sex sells. They like the big hits.
Yeah, that's just a part of the sales of our game.
I mean, when you talk to Americans, and I've lived about half my life in the U.S., and they talk about the NHL, the first thing anyone says is, "Oh, hockey, you know, the fighting and the hits
It's funny,
and all
eh?
that." And it's like
fighting is almost non-existent.
right,
The
but
numbers
that's
have never
still the
been lower,
association.
but it won't change if they see just one fight.
It's
Yeah.
still there sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes, I mean, we've made this point before in the show a million times, but like the beautiful, the skill, everything about hockey with the threat of extreme violence is what makes it hockey. Like it's like, that's what, if you're in the arena, an amazing goal is one thing, a great pass, like you like the most nice pass is your favorite thing. One of those is great. But there's nothing that gets you like, oh my, like a big open ice hit.
Radko Gudas hitting David Kampf in playoffs.
Oh my
last year,
God.
just
2 years ago, where he just ran him through the end boards. Like, you see Holmberg get lit up last night. You see Oliver Ekman-Larsson nail Gensel. It's what makes hockey unique, and football has it. I think it's a different thing in football, but like a hockey hit, there's nothing like it.
So if you don't think it's coming out of the game, there is a provision in the rules about hitting that if you can hit the head. It just can't be picked clean. It can't be the sole or primary principle.
Primary.
And Trouba is skates on the ice,
so
elbow tucked in.
He's
right through the middle of the body of a player who's,
And
And
how
everyone's
many
like, it was
guys?
an elbow. Well, your arm's going to come through.
well,
Like
it wasn't.
We got 750, 800 guys in the league today. How many can do that?
How many do that? Was it one?
Exactly.
Is it one?
Yeah.
they throw hits.
Well,
like
no,
that.
Trouba throws
Like that.
devastating.
You know who actually is sneaky high on that
Borderline.
list is a guy that plays for the Leafs and Jake McCabe.
Yeah, he throws
Once in a while,
some
he
hits.
catches somebody, but it's not like the threat of Jake McCabe isn't the threat of Trouba. There's no one that.
No one's like, you can't go down McCabe's side but I think
and-
Trouba does that.
And I feel for the kid last night that gets smoked, but like, you got to read the game sheet.
Where is he looking? Like there's a snapshot that I saw on the internet where it's like he is right in front of you, and you're not looking at him. You're not
Now,
seeing him.
In his defense, he grew up in a generation where those hits are very, very rare.
Mhm.
And Trouba might be the only guy in the league, to your point. Like, you just don't anticipate that hit.
Yeah, people aren't expecting to get hit like
And
that.
that's
anymore.
people come across the blue line who no one hits you there in the way they used to anymore either. And that's how you end up Timo Meier with Trouba.
Yeah.
Like it's the anticipation that these hits don't get thrown anymore. And one guy's like, I disagree.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hit you
Yeah.
hard.
I'm allowed to.
Yeah, you're eligible to be hit. I'm going to do it. But I mean, there's still nothing
And good
like
for
it. to me.
Matheson for standing up for
Yep.
his teammate.
Yep.
Got some licks in on Trouba.
Yep.
Okay, and
That was one. That's worth a fight.
I am as old school as anyone when it comes to standing up, and I don't care. Don't run my player. I'm coming after you. But I'm starting to feel for Jacob Trouba every time he has a big hit like this. He's got to fight.
Oh, he's just
Okay.
bits off now. Like
That one was particularly violent. That was one where I'm like, yeah, that needs to be a fight. That's a fight. You're right, though. He does have to fight after everyone.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I'm not here to pretend that I have the answer, but I'm tired of it always just automatically leading to a hit or a fight.
Yeah.
A hit leading to a fight.
But to the ref's credit, there was no penalty on that play. They didn't see a penalty, and that usually is the violence of his hits makes people raise their arm.
Yeah. I don't know. Could you? There's an instigator rule for sure, but is there anything more that you could tag on that if it's
To discourage someone from
to
fighting after
discourage
that hit.
somebody from or just like the game's not over after that hit. take a number or get them later or square up with them. The part that bothers me the most is the jumping, right? The not allowing a guy to square up or
like saying, hey, you got to answer for that.
Yes.
Let's drop our gloves
Yes.
rather than just we're coming in.
And then,
Yeah, like kind of like, hey, we're going right now, as opposed to what Jacques I did to
there's
Cedric
also
Paré.
there's also a stigma or a feeling that if you were challenged and didn't drop your gloves, you're a coward. And I don't believe that anymore. I believe that someone can ask you to fight and you have the right to say no. Whatever the consequences is for you personally on that, it's tough to look at your teammates after that, or you feel like you let whatever you have to go through, you need to go through. But you should have the right to say no to a fight and move on.
That's a new stance for you.
Yes,
I think,
it is a new
we've
stance for me.
Done the show together.
Yep, it is.
I think that's totally fair.
I think
there are probably social repercussions of not answering the bell?
Yes, and you have to.
And maybe within your own team, from your coach, it might say, "I don't think."
Yeah, I don't like you turning around. It makes us look weak. We look scared. Whatever the case is, you can deal with that with your own respective club. But for me, I don't think that the players, and some of them are not comfortable, to your point, whether it's Barron on an open ice hit or a guy that says, I never fought in college. I never fought in junior. And now, I'm getting challenged and I think I can get hurt. It's like, well, then don't do it. Then just don't do it. And it should be more accepted, I guess, from us as gatekeepers or referees or the league to say, you have a right to say no, and we need to respect that right.
I like that. I think that's fair, Kip. Well said.
And I do think that the way the new generation of hockey is coming up, we're going to be having a lot less of these conversations. In terms of fighting, in terms of physicality,
But I tell you what, if you're a young kid looking to up your draft stock and make an impact, the next guy who wants to throw hits like Trouba is going to be 32 GMs going,
that's Sider.
I'll take one of those.
That's Sider on Detroit. He'll throw his weight around once in a while. But I just, I go to a junior hockey game now. When I was a kid, they were 4 hours long.
Yes.
Right? It's changed a lot. So
the Todd Fedora Kelowna Rockets put on a good show, let me tell you.
Boy, I go to a Wednesday night attack game, get home at 11:30 at night. It starts at 7. Anyways.
We got a couple of sound bites.
We got lots of sound bites. What do you want?
Justin Kirkland.
Okay.
Because
we got two separate
ones. Gets the nod in the shootout,
yes.
Scores the game winner against the Penguins.
Yeah, let's listen.
First one, Derek. Kirkland.
Really wasn't expecting it, but kind of had that move for a little while, and it's worked before. So, it was the most nervous I've ever been, but just unbelievable.
And
number two? Pretty good move for a nervous guy.
Yeah, number 2 there, Derek.
I just heard my name called, and I looked back to double check. Me? Okay. It was exciting. I knew, had a job to do, and that was to go out and try to score. And happy that it went in. And obviously, Wolfie made a big save on the next one. So, all in all, a fantastic night. Just absolutely living the dream.
You love that, man. Living the dream is that's a beautiful thing to hear.
It is. And I also love the idea that some guys are looking at the coach like me, and he heard his name was like, me? Wait.
Didn't look like he was, like you said, didn't look like he was nervous. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, it was well done.
Loved it. Loved
Team
those
Costco.
Nothing Calgary's done to start this season makes you believe that they can make the playoffs.
I disagree. They're 6-0-1.
Okay, all right.
I look at that team and I'm like, I am not sure why I thought they were so bad. What it is I saw the out list, the players who left and went, they're trying to lose. They're going to be terrible. But if you go there and look at that team, it's a lot of good hockey players.
I mean, they do have an 11-point head start here.
Rasmus Anderson is having an excellent year. He's way up the rink, and he's a big guy too. Uyghur has really found his game. They got some sneaky guys like Sharon Govich who actually can score 25, 30.
Would I bet on them to make the playoffs?
Lomberg.
No, but they're 5-0-1. I mean, that's an 11-point start.
And I don't like the Pacific Division. I'm getting close.
You're talking yourself.
I'm getting close to believing in the Flames.
Well, think about the Canucks' hot start last year. Remember, we thought they sucked, and then they had a really hot start. And
14-point season.
We can go down every team and find some pretty major flaws.
Yeah, it's like the salary cap NHL.
The gap, yeah, exactly. So, maybe we do give too much credit to certain rosters. But there's a few other teams where you knew they were going to miss the playoffs before the season started.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. San Jose just
San
not
Jose.
even attempting to be competitive.
Columbus, Anaheim.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Columbus looked pretty competitive last night.
Dean Evanson did a pretty good job
He's
last
got
night for me.
Scary face. He's a scary individual.
Montreal, we thought were not ready for prime time.
No, you're right. But then anywhere from 5 to 25 in the league, and it's like a couple things go right, a couple things go wrong. You can go either way.
Let me continue to please our Calgary listeners here with Kipper's favorite jersey takes. They have maybe the best jersey sets in the league.
So I don't like red jerseys, and I think the Flames have great sweaters.
Their red jerseys are beautiful. They're whites with the red shoulders. And the black one with the horse in the front, beautiful. I love all three of those jerseys.
What do they call it? The horse head? What's the name?
Yeah, there's a name for it. I don't know. Horsey? Fire horsey? Is that what it's called?
Definitely not.
Fire horsey's not right?
I think it is. It's fire horsey.
I think last night, Calgary steals a point off of Pittsburgh. I think they were better last night. Malkin's actually.
Blasty. They call it Blasty. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Kipper's going to blasty Dubas coming up here.
No, I'm not. I'm not. But they got to be concerned.
Yeah, they do have to be concerned. I going into the season looked at that roster and said, boy, there's some pretty good players here, but they just give up so much. Like defensively, they are a complete mess.
Yeah.
I got to say, this is maybe just a pure coincidence, but the Dubas Penguins defensively are what people thought the Dubas Leafs were defensively.
Yeah.
The Sheldon Keefe Devils had to answer questions the other day about a big hit that wasn't answered with physicality from his small roster. And these two guys must just be going like, God, give me some players. Not the same thing again.
Everything followed us.
It did.
That's
Both guys are
hilarious.
dealing with like the same reputation for their teams, which is
That's hilarious.
sub-awesome for them.
Listen.
Hey, Dustin Wolf's good goalie too, though. Give him credit last night.
Two-time AHL goaltender of the year
Really
and goaltender of the year in junior hockey.
Love the look of him.
And Pitt had a couple of opportunities in the shootout to get the extra point.
Crosby ruined the post.
And Gino comes down on him, makes a great move, and he reads it, 5-hole stop. It was a nice save. I like him. Looks good in there.
Gino's been not bad this year, and they still don't look very good.
No.
They're in trouble.
They're in trouble.
What do we got?
Hey, how about the Jets? Again, they are sick. We just give them 1 minute at the end. 6 straight wins.
6 straight wins.
Coming into Toronto next week.
As a fringe playoff team by most people's accounts, when I did how many Canadian teams make playoffs, I said one of Ottawa or Winnipeg will get in.
Leafs in Winnipeg. No?
No, I think it's here. Is it not? Or maybe it's in Winnipeg. My bad.
That's okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, listen, you got a 50-50 shot. You know?
I think it's here.
So we had Matt's on, right? We had Matt's on the other day, and I didn't tell him how much you loved him.
Okay.
But I did when I was in the box. So
Kippy.
You got an autograph book for
to
Sam.
Sam.
Oh, that's
my
great.
Sam.
To Sam, Matt
Sundin, home and away for you, my friend.
Buddy, you're going to make
Because
me cry.
you made me feel bad because you said I would have embarrassed you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you do that all by yourself. You don't need my help.
That's fair. Listen, Kyper, I got to tell you, that means a lot, buddy.
Okay,
Honestly.
pal.
We say a lot, we make fun of each other a lot, but that's really sweet. I appreciate that. I do.
The world for you, Sammy.
Oh, stop it. Okay, make fun of me again.
One game on tap tonight. Right here on the network. Philadelphia Flyers versus Ovi and the Washington Capitals. Have a great night, everybody. We're back tomorrow. If you get a chance, give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you.